everyone, how you doing today? Alright, today we got in a new Alienware R4 17-inch. This is an iCore 7 7th generation with a GTX 1060 in it. So pretty much this client wants to repaste and do a service on his laptop. So I'm going to show you guys how to open it and how to repaste. First, get yourself a working towel so you don't want to scratch anything. You're going to flip the laptop down and you're going to open all the screws at the bottom side, and the middle one won't come out. It's going to stay there. You just have to loosen it up. Once we loosen it up, you want to grab from the top area for the back side, put your fingers inside here, inside the edge, and you're going to slowly lift it up. Or you can, if you don't have fingernails, do it with a guitar pick. And you can just go ahead and lift it up. Alright. Anyway, right down here you can see the CPU and the GPU under this heatsink, and this one only comes with one memory. So, and the client, I guess it did install an M.2 SSD 500 gig. So if you're gonna first remove the battery cable, which is right there, by removing it you need to pull it apart. Don't pull the cable. Let me see if I can focus on this right there. So this is the cable. You want to put your fingernails in between those, the plastic, and just pull. You don't want to yank this cover. You can damage the cables. Once you got the battery removed, you want to remove the connector for the hard drive. Just pull this ribbon cable here, ribbon tape upward right there, and then also you have to remove the caddy. There's 4 screws. To remove this you have to remove these 2 and those 2 at the bottom. So let's go ahead and remove those. Right, once you remove the screws, just go ahead and slowly, gently lift up the hard drive with a caddy. And this is a 1 terabyte, I believe. Yep, 1 terabyte. You want to remove any SSD M2s that you have. There's one more here you can put, and one right there, and a small one right there. So you gotta remove this one. Alright, once you're unscrew it, don't lift it up all the way up. You have to pull it in 45-degree angle, so you don't want to damage the connectors. Just pull it out. Next, we want to start removing all those ribbons. Ribbon cable for the keyboard, for the backlight, for the mouse and touchpad. So go ahead and for this one, you have to lift up the clip, the white one, this one here. You have to lift it up towards the ceiling. The backlight too, just about 1 millimeter you have to lift it up. And the keyboard, on this one is black. So if you can get your finger underneath, just do it with a guitar pick right there. Now, I don't like damaging the ribbons, so I just do it gently. Just lift it up with your fingers. You don't want to bend them too hard. Right there. And this one right here. Also, you want to remove this. I think this is the backlight for. But there's so many lightning here, so this is one of the backlights. Same thing, just pull it up. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. Right there. So once you lift it up, just pull the cable out. This is the speakers. You want to unplug the speakers. You have to pull it towards the hard drive. There. What else we have here? On this side, there's this cable that goes to the backlight for the side. So you have to lift those two. It looks like an USB, I guess. So you have to trace the cable to see where it goes. Anyway, so once you got, let's go from the left to right. You got this cable disconnected, the keyboard. Also, you can go ahead right now and unhook the cable for the LCD, which is right here. So same thing, don't pull this cable here, don't put this tape, just pull it from the side so you don't damage the cable. Go gently, slowly, and it will come out eventually. There. Also, you might want to remove this backlight for this side. Alright. Now that we got most of the cables out of the way, we want to remove the top on the back cover where the heatsink and the IOs are. Back here you have two screws, you want to remove these two screws. So let's go ahead and remove those. Alright, now once we remove those screws, we need to remove this cover first. You can see here there's a 1, 2, 3 and 4 clips here. You want to unclip those. Just put a guitar pick in between, lift them up slowly. And loosen it up. And you also have to do it from the other side too. So it's kind of very big laptop, so you have to be very patient. You don't want to yank it out. You don't want to damage it. There we go. Go slowly all around. You're gonna hear all those click sounds. Those are the clips that are loosening up. Once you got this side, you might have to go back again. Now, you want to pull it out this way and then at the same time lift it up there. Right there. Once you put the guitar pick underneath, you have clearance over the clips and just pull it out slowly. Same thing for the other side. And this is your back cover for the laptop. Now we gotta do lots of screwing around here. There's no more screws down here. So the only thing that we gotta do, remove all the screws that it says M2.5 times L8 and 2.5 times L8. All those we have to remove. So I'm just gonna start removing all the screws. I'm just gonna fast forward this. Now once we remove most of the screws, we're gonna start trying to remove this top cover, separate it from the base. Also, you need to remove the two screws for the backlight here. Just remove the screws, you don't need to unplug it. Once you remove the two screws, you want to grab the guitar pick, put it right where the fan, the side fan is right here, heatsink, and just lift it up slowly, gently. Go all around. Make sure you don't scratch or don't do anything. Be very gentle. And then you can just go ahead, do the same thing for the other side. Alright, so put your guitar pick in there, wiggle it around, and once you loosen it up, just move it slowly. Make sure you don't Oh, by the way, I almost missed. Under this cover thing here, there's a Wi-Fi. You need to remove the Wi-Fi. So remove the screw. Remove the plastic cover. And then unhook the cables. Pull it in 45-degree angle, the Wi-Fi board. And once you got that in, slowly just go ahead and lift it up. And there's a cable here, you have to loosen it up, right there. I feel like there's one more thing. No, that's it. Right. This is the bottom chassis, bottom cover. We are almost there. Now what we're gonna do here, we're gonna unhook. Yeah, there are two ways to go to this one. You can just unscrew the fans, leave the fans in there, just like the heatsink. I like to remove the whole thing out and work it outside, but I do not disconnect the BIOS battery because I want to keep my BIOS configuration the same. So what I do, this is the BIOS battery, keep it within the motherboard. And now what we're going to do, we want to remove all the screws that we see on the board, pointing with a white arrow right there. I don't know if you can see the white arrow. So there's a white arrow right there for each screw that you have to remove. So we're going to remove those, and we're going to remove the screws that hold the fan. Also, we need to remove the bracket for the power jack and then display port or SATA port. Alright, this one don't remove it, let's just leave it in. Just remove this one right here. Okay, now we got that in. We also have to remove this motherboard cable. It says MB. I think it's a touchpad buttons, clicks. Just lift up the clip. Let me zoom in. This clip is in that position, so you just gotta lift up the clip just like that, 90 degrees, and then pull out the cable. I see something that I don't like about this. You see, this is the speakers. The gum, the shock absorbent is nicely placed in here, but this one is kind of messed up, so I'm just gonna fix this one. Just take it out, put it back in, and gently put it inside. It's already deformed. That's the best I can do. But I guess in the fabrication they do this on a rush, so. Alright, now that we removed most of the stuff here, I already missed one more screw right here by the fan. By the way, disconnect this cable right here. It connects the extra USB port. I don't know why they only put one USB port when they have a space to put another one here. Lift up the jack and just disconnect it. Okay, once make sure you the Wi-Fi cable, everything is disconnected on the bottom, everything is disconnected here. Don't forget, you have to flip it over slowly and remove the cables right at the back by the hinges. So you need to remove 1, 2, and 3 cables right here. I don't like to yank the cables. I just like to lift them up from the side, so that way you don't damage anything. This is the LCD cable. Right there. Now you can flip it over. Now you can go ahead and lift up the motherboard. These are the fans. You can go ahead and disconnect the fans if you want to. This is a Kapton tape, so the heat won't go through the other side. Isolates the heat. Right, now that we have the motherboard out, now we're gonna work on this one. Now what we want to do, we want to remove all the screws for the heatsink. Once you remove everything, just go ahead and lift up the heatsink right there. So as you can see, this is a stock thermal paste. That's the crappiest thing ever. So we're gonna clean up the stock thermal paste, and we're gonna replace that with a liquid metal. So you're gonna grab your alcohol, and you're gonna grab your towel. So just go ahead and rub it right on top of the GPU gently. Watch out for the capacitors. If you have the thermal paste between the capacitors, you don't want to go with a towel too hard. It would be easy if you grab a toothbrush and clean them with a toothbrush. That's the most effective way without damaging the capacitors. There we go. Alright, once we clean the GPU and the CPU, we're going to put the motherboard to one side, and we're going to start cleaning up the heatsink. Try not to touch the thermal pads on these ones. Alright, now that everything is cleaned up, you want to make sure there's no thermal paste here on the towel. So clean up your working towel. Now, instead of me putting a liquid metal first, I like to put a copper shim on top of these ones, so I can lift it up a little bit, so I can have more pressure from the heatsink to the GPU, which is more effective. Honestly, these heatsinks are really shitty heatsink. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Here they use a really tough spring type, so it has really more resistance. On the CPU they use this tiny puny thing that is supposed to pull the heatsink towards the motherboard, which is useless. I don't know why they don't do it something like this, or include the hole and the spring separately. Even in here you can see it is a double. The bottom one doesn't do anything, and the top puny thing is supposed to pull. It doesn't have any resistance, but well, what can you do? I don't like how the heatsink, the heat pipes don't go through the fans here. They go over, they don't go inside, which is the better way to do it. Some models they go right through it. Anyway, so let's get to work. So we're gonna find ourselves two copper shim, and one's gonna be over the GPU, one over the CPU, just like that. And this one actually really helps out. But before we do any of this, we gotta start isolating the capacitors right on the chip. And I do this one with this Scotch tape. Is a Super 33 Plus, heat resistance and sticky. If you want, you can go ahead and use Kapton tape. I wouldn't use Kapton tape because it's not too sticky. That's the only reason. So cut few, place it over the capacitors nicely. Alright, now that we actually got covered this one, we don't need to cover the CPU because there's no, what do you call that thing? There's no capacitors, but I'm just gonna put 4 just in case it's not necessary. In here, you have to cut a little shorter. You want to cover these capacitors right here, the side ones. This is not the best taping, but I'm just doing this for precaution, not anything else. So there we go. Alright, once we got this in, we gotta clean these copper shims really clean before we get the liquid metal in. Now that we got everything cleaned up ready, we're gonna go ahead and grab your liquid metal, and first you wanna apply it right on top of the crystal, 1 drop only, no more. And you wanna apply 1 more drop. Right there, the tiniest drop that you can get. You don't want huge amounts. Grab it and start working it out on the crystal, and you gotta start rubbing it until it just sticks to it. You have to be very patient with this. 1 drop goes all very long way, so don't think you have a little bit. It should take you about 3 minutes to work on one, and then you go back to other side. Right, now once you got there, you want to grab the same amount to just put it in the middle here, just a little bit. You just want to decorate to change the color of this one. Grab it from there and just rub it in here. You don't have to do the whole thing, you just want to do the same side of the crystal die. And damp a little bit in the middle. Now you can go ahead and flip it. Before you put it on top, I rather to polish this end too. I'm going to start polishing this end too. This end, try to do as much as you can because it's going to touch the whole superficie, the whole area. So you want to grab a drop, put a drop right on top of here. And then you're going to work it out. Make sure you be patient, take your time. Otherwise, it's not going to be as good as it should be. Now you're going to replace it. Make sure you place it nicely over. Once you put it, don't lift it, or try not to lift it. I don't suggest that you should lift it. right there. Now you're gonna work out the CPU. I have a bigger drop in here, so I'm gonna use this drop to just paint the copper shim. Just paint a little bit bigger than the crystal die, so you don't have a hard time aligning it. Once you paint the one side, again this end you want to paint as much as you can. If you want, just add a drop. I'm just gonna use one more drop right here, tiny one, not too much. Again, now you wanna place it in. Just make sure the bumps are in the middle. Again, once you put it down, don't lift it up. Right there. Now we are gonna paint the mids of the heatsink. So we're gonna pull this to the side. Here there's a mark right here, so I can see it. One drop right there. One drop right there. Alright. Now that we finished applying the paste right here on the heatsink, we're just gonna double check everything before we apply and make sure everything will align. And if we need to apply a little more, we're just gonna apply a little bit. I'm just gonna double check everything. And we are gonna set down before we set it down, we need to lift it up a little bit on the bottom side, so we can screw it. Otherwise it's gonna be a pain in the ass screwing this. While you're going down on it, make sure before I put that, I forgot. Apply a little bit of the Arctic Silver 5 on the components. Just a little bit. You don't need to apply it if you're not gonna do any overclocking. So right there. I do not recommend anybody to overclock their laptops because it's not good for the components. You can damage and you bring the lifespan of the components down. So do yourself a favor, don't overclock, just buy a different laptop if you want to. Right. Once we put the heatsink in, we're gonna go slowly and gently Once you put the heat sink in and you put the screws in, just slowly pick it up. Just make sure that you don't make sure everything is touching down. All the components are having contact. Their RAMs, everything is okay. On this model, you could have extra RAM, but they haven't installed it. On a 1070, they have installed more RAM on the video chip. On this one, it doesn't. In my previous video, I opened it at 10 GTX 1070, and it does have an extra RAM right there. Anyway, alright, we're pretty much done here. Now we're gonna put the whole thing back together. Grab the motherboard. Remember, it's gonna go this way. So no. It's gonna go this way. So that means this fan goes right here. And you're gonna plug in the other fan. Make sure you remove everything from the sides. The Wi-Fi cables. Go ahead and plug in this cable first, right there. And make sure everything sits down flush. Alright. Grab the BIOS battery. Tape it down again. Alright, let's put the screws for the motherboard, starting from one side. Now that we put all the screws back in here, we're gonna connect the cables. Make sure you go in order so you don't miss any, especially in my case because I'm just gonna ship this to another city, so you don't want to miss anything. So plug in the cable for the USB side USBs. Once you got that in, plug in the keyboard, the backlight for the keyboard. You want to put the battery at the end, so plug in the speakers, some more lightning cable. Alright. Also, you want to flip it over and plug in the cables at the back of the laptop right there. The LCD cable. So I'm just gonna flip this so I can see better. Always use a tweezer. You don't want to squish your hand in there. Alright, now that we have all the backside connected, the cables, you're gonna flip it over and make sure everything is snuggled back in nicely, all the cables, there's no more missing cables to connect. Here, no there, the fans, everything. So we're gonna grab the bottom cover chassis. We're gonna flip over the bottom chassis. Before I do that, I'm just gonna plug in this backlight thing here. Right there. So we're gonna put down the, make sure you just grab the cables for the Wi-Fi. You wanna squish those down there. Now you can go ahead and press down the sides. Make sure everything is pushed down nicely. Alright. Now we're gonna go ahead and plug in the cables. Plug this backlight cable right here. We're gonna start putting all the screws. All the one that we took, all the M2.5 times L8. Alright, now we're gonna get the Wi-Fi. Put the Wi-Fi down, put the cables for the Wi-Fi. Before anything, I'm just gonna plug in the battery. We're gonna turn it on to make sure everything is connected and working. And we do have, it says checking media present, so there's no media. There's no boot disk, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it off. Hard drive not installed. Alien 17 R4 BIOS system 1.2.3. So just turn it off. Close the lid. Yeah, pretty much we are done. Now what are we gonna do? We're gonna put the bumper side on the back side. So grab the bumper. This way, no. This way. Just slide it down. There you go. Simple as that. And we're gonna put the two screws right at the back. There we go. You wanna grab your SSD hard drives in 45-degree angle. Don't go slide it down 90. You wanna go in 45-degree angle down and then just push it down. Right there. And you're gonna grab your hard drive, run the cable for the hard drive right between the pads of the plastic, right there, and then plug it in. Just push it down. Now put the 4 screws for the caddy. There we go. Now we are pretty much done, and we're gonna put the last cover, and this is the bottom cover. Just put the bottom side, the front side of the laptop down first, and then just push it down. Make sure you hear those clicking sounds. First put the middle top one right down, and then put all the rest. And that's about it. Now what I'm gonna do another benchmark test, and I'm gonna put a comparison at the end of this video so you guys can see on idle, overload, and I'm also gonna indicate the ambient temperature for the room, because it's kind of a very cold room, so you gotta add that up too. Alright guys, let's turn it on and see if it works. Alright, we are in business. Everything is working fine. Backlight, everything is working. The sound is working, just test everything. And that's it. Alright guys, I hope you guys like this video. If you liked it, thumbs up. And I appreciate if you guys subscribe it. It helps and motivates me to make more videos like this, showing you guys how to do your own repaste, your own services. Thanks again for watching, guys.